This is Calcat, the Galcaster. This is a review of the season finale of Mandalorian. Tomorrow's the season finale of Picard. That's the season finale of Mandalorian. The Return, or rather, final title. But, yeah. It seems to tie into the later stuff in the sequels, because this is set like 20 years before the sequels. 10 years after Return of the Jedi. So you have the retaking of Mandalore. Moff Gideon has gone to Mandalore, and he's down there with his clones. Not sure why he would do that. The R4 helps him to break into the vat and helps Mandalorian to escape. So yeah, there's a lot of escapes, near misses, traps in catacombs, that kind of thing. A lot of battling. Moff Gideon, who has returned and has cloned himself using the stolen and clone technology from the guy from the episode earlier on. I'm assuming that they used the same cloning technology to reclone Palpatine later on, as well as Entertainment Weekly thought that as well. So he's a clone, Palpatine. So that they do the cloning thing in the background. It's just that they didn't take the Calcat route or the Marx Cards route either, which would have been to when they did the Palpatine thing. If they were going to do that, which I said don't do that, but they did it anyway. They didn't listen to me. If you're going to do that, make the figurehead behind Snoke and Palpatine, make him Jar Jar Binks and turn him evil. And have him say, I was behind the whole thing, I was just acting silly, but I'm actually a dark Sith Lord. Yeah, and that would have actually made the prequels awesome. Because he's just pretending to be silly. He's actually secretly evil. But they didn't do that. They didn't want to do that. It was too obvious. So no, she's a Palpatine. They might as well say Rey's a clone, and then it makes sense. Yeah. Is Finn a clone? I don't know. I guess Finn is kind of a clone of this other guy too, isn't he? Kind of or he says he has parents. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to defer to that. So we have the Darksaber fight, and as I said in the last episode and the one previously, Darksaber is silly because the premise is that it's just a dark lightsaber. Is like, okay, whatever. It's both silly and awesome at the same time. Like if an 8-year-old was like drawing up a Star Wars character and he was like, no, this is a dark saber because it's dark, because it's the opposite of light and it's powerful. Well, apparently it isn't powerful because in a maybe 6-minute sword fight scene near the end of the story, Bo-Katan beats the bad guy. Of course, she almost gets her ass whooped, but beats the bad guy. And it's also doubly messed up because the bad guy is a black dude, and they're clearly like doing that. They're going there. It's messed up. That's messed up, Charlie Brown. That's pretty fucked up. Ha. Yeah, it's like that is pretty fucked up. So bangada. Not just kidding. No, it's not. Just kidding. That is messed up. To quote most offensive video for no reason. It is kind of racially messed up because like I don't even think Lucas would have done that. You can't do that. He wants the Darksaber back. His penis. Yeah, there was a line where it was clearly he was talking about his penis because he wanted it back. He wanted it back so badly because without it, he didn't feel manly enough. It's like, the Darksaber is clearly his dick. But yeah, it's his junk. It's his, and she's got his dick in her hand. So it's literally like, it's like that Pitch Black movie where she was in it with the Rock. He wanted to screw her. Yeah, it's like that. There's all this. There's combat scenes in it. There's a scene where there's like walls going up. A little droid is messing with the wall, the force fields, Does beg the question, though, how would he see them? And also, how would they see them? And also, it seems ridiculous on Imperial spaceships to build access ports about a meter off the ground so that droids can plug into them and mess with the shields. That would be a really poor design. It would be like saying, okay, yeah, we're in this child-proof bunker thing, but we've made everything at ground level so that kids can torture themselves and mess with stuff. And why would you do that? This doesn't make any sense. In the Star Wars movie, original movies, they just didn't think about it. This is just a nod to that. But technically, that's a really bad plan. These little droid things can totally break in here and mess with your computer systems, and you have no locks on them. And apparently, the robot can just plug in and go. Yeah. Djinn escapes and from the attack. They drop the spy thing really quick, so it's not relevant. No, the lady with the forge is not the spy. It was a spy because it was a thumbnail that had her on it on Disney Plus. But no, she's not the other. The spy thing was the other dude that got killed. The other one that wasn't heroic was the spy. The heroic one wasn't killed. I think also they were trying to be pseudo-biblical there because there was the spy sent into Gideon and the land of Canaan and all that. That's got to be a reference to that, is what that is. So there weren't even any spies. It was just a reference to that thinly veiled reference to that land of the Gideon, and the Gideon character. He's wasteland field character. Also, the root word is similar to that of Armageddon, which is Armageddon, which is the end of the world. Well, it's not the end of the world. It's the last battle of the Revelation. It's just a place. There's the Gideon, the land of Gideon. It's Armageddon, the land of Gideon, in Canaan. It's just a land. It's a large area in the desert. But in this one, deserted planet, and then under the Mandalorians go down and they go to this Star Trek II type of arboretum they've set up down there. And couldn't help but think that the main one just wants to get lucky. Heroic black guy down there. He's like, I brought you down here so that you bring me down to here to have sex, did you? And then he gives no. That didn't happen in the movie, but he should have said that. He's all like, no. He's looking around like, no. But yeah, that should have happened. That'd been funny. But no, it isn't because they're horny. It's because they're desperate. They've all been wearing these Mandalorian outfits, and it's really sweaty in those things, and they probably stink. So also, it's kind of funny that so they wouldn't want to. So they have to take a shower first in the river. It's weird that the Mandalorian planet did have life on it, and that they could have gone there anytime, even though they said, "Oh, I can't go there; it's poisonous." But they live in a society where it technically should be post-scarcity because they have an empire and a republic, and they have a galaxy. So yeah, that goes along with the other flip side of that. Why does the Beskar armor only exist on that one planet? You would think out in the vast expanses of the galaxy, this metal that they make, it's got to be on other planets. It's not something that's made of something that doesn't exist around other stars. If you check for the metallicity of a star like the Star of Mandalore, and you look for that to see what kind of G-type star, maybe it's an F-type star, probably an F-type star. Look for another F-type star, and it probably has those metal ingredients in it. So they could have, and they have a galaxy. They have hyperspace that's instantaneous. They don't need resources. The Empire, the First Order, they almost call it the First Order. Not quite. They're probably going to do that with Ahsoka and have like the new guy in there. And that'll be probably halfway through. Some of the alt-right people that aren't Star Wars fans were complaining about oh, it's all the story of this lady. It wasn't the story of what's his face. It was all about her. Because their penis is soft and they don't like it. So there it goes with the sex again. Yeah, they don't like the girl being the champion. But really, technically, Katie Sackhoff's character, I can see what happened is, they got rid of that other lady, who was the bounty hunter lady, who was the third person in the room, right? They got rid of her. They had to get rid of her. She was acting crazy on the internet. They got rid of her. Which is different from what happened with James Gunn, whereas he apologized. She didn't. All she had to do was apologize and say, I'm not going to do that anymore. She could have come back to Disney. But she didn't. And so her character was written out of The Mandalorian Season 3. And there were originally 10 episodes of it. But the first 2 episodes, because they were half done, were stuck on the end of Book of Boba Fett. Because they were like, yeah, we can't use these episodes, but we want to bring Mando back to help Boba Fett, because he's a Mandalorian. See? So we'll do that. We'll throw him on the end of the other one and throw Cad Bane in there. And it clearly was meant to be some sort of feature film spin-off thingy connected to Mandalorian, which is why the first official episode of Season 3 is completely different, and they're looking for a robot, which they resolve in this story. They get another robot head for him. But the robot gets yes, yes, no, no robot. The battle android. Yeah, so... yeah, it does end with a satisfying conclusion, even though it's silly. Yeah, unlimited resources. They wouldn't even need to fry the bad guy's brain that way, or not bad guy, well, sort of bad guy's brain, because they didn't need to do that. They have other people and other resources. There's a vast city. The Coruscant is like a giant Cybertron planet. There's got to be 10 billion people living there or more. It's bound to be somebody there that can do what he does. Yeah, post-scarcity, you have a planet made of metal. Goes on forever. And you can build Death Stars, like moon-shaped battle stations. You don't need Beskar armor planet. You don't even need to take Mandalore. Just leave it there. Or if you're going to take it, then stay there. Just, I can see where they got the spy thing from, because they were thinking, well, is she just hiding something that she's like the Forge Lady and whatever? And why is there only one Forge Lady? They actually address that in the end of this one too. When they reactivate the Forge, some of them are like they're going to become trainees or something. And then Grogu becomes his adopted son, but technically that was in Season 2. So, just again, adopted son. Okay. Twice adopted, yeah. Yeah, and then they move off to a little ranch on Navarro, which sounds like Nibaru. It's spelled differently. Anyway, so Nibiru, yeah. But yeah, this season had some interesting and odd episode choices. There was actually no sex. There should have been, but there wasn't. Yeah, there were no love triangles. It would have been kind of fun if he'd gone off with Bo-Katan, but I guess she was probably not interested in him. Yeah, so because she was meant to be the other person. The other lady was supposed to go do all those adventures with her. Rewrote it and gave her the part, which is why it comes out of nowhere when she says, oh, you can walk 2 worlds and have the hat off and all that. Also, because the stunt double for Katie Sackhoff had to wear the helmet more than the actual actor. Clearly, there's a stunt double. And it's a convenient way to have a stunt double, because you can put them in a helmet and have them run around. And he said, that's really them. Yeah, I didn't do a voiceover later. Like, just a stunt double. And that's fine. Isn't she like pushing 50? She can't do those tricks anymore. That's fine. But yeah, actually, maybe she's younger than. I think she's pushing 50. I could look that up. Yeah, make her older than she is. Oh, okay, she's 43, but well, eventually, 7 years from now. Anyway, so 40. No, she's mid-40s. Yeah, she was on BSG, and yeah, so years ago, the current one. Yeah, so um, yeah, it's weird adventure. Um, so yeah, there's no, those battles were fine. There were some scenes where they were trying to be really. Oh yeah, the rocket packs. The rocket packs didn't seem to last long in the other episode when they flew around, had to stop the Razor Beast, the Raptor. But here they're unlimited. There's like bugs flying around. So CG is jumpy and weird because they didn't quite line up the. Yeah, so yeah, if you put too much flying robot porn or flying ship porn on screen, you can't tell what's going on. Yeah, so there's a whole fleets of them coming together like a swarm. Like it just looks like space orgasm. Like you watch a space orgy and then you're like, it's an orgy. It gets boring after a while. It's like, okay, that and that and that and that and that and that. They're over there doing something. They're over there doing something. They're over there doing something. Okay, I'm bored now. But yeah, splooging eye candy over the screen. It's funny that the Darksaber is defeated and destroyed in the story. Spoiler, but yeah, it was apparently not very good. I still say it would have been better if they called it like a Crimson Saber or a Purple Saber, and then just said that it was like the Kyber crystal was a different color that made it look camouflaged and dark, and that it wasn't really black because that's silly. But okay, whatever. The laser was just very, very dark purple. That would make sense. So, deep purple laser. Of course, that's not as cool sounding. Darksaber. It was also referenced in Most Offensive Video when the character playing Charlie Brown had said he's going to put his Darksaber up for Princess Latoya. Because even back then, even like 15 years ago in that sketch, and then he referenced 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades Darker. But yeah, but they were white guys pretending to be black, so don't do that. In that sketch, don't look that up. He didn't do it. He just talked about it. Yeah. So yeah, that's. I guess the Darksaber was around before in the Jedi Order, New Republic. It was part of the book canon, the EU, that they have over there, the extended universe, which Disney didn't use. They're Disney, and now they're going to use yeah, that guy from they're gonna use the guy from the expanded universe, but they're gonna change his character around. The blue guy, it's another blue guy, the General Thrawn, I think is his name. They're gonna use him, and I bet they're not gonna get permission from Timothy Zahn either. But they're just gonna use it, unless they gave him a handsome reward for it. So we're gonna use your character, we're gonna pay you. Yeah, because those were the New Order books, which had also Luke Skywalker's daughter, Mara Jade. And the fans are like, oh, we're going to introduce Mara Jade too. Like, kind of did with some of these other characters in this. But, yeah, you can get around that. Either he has, like, a teenage daughter at this point that just never talked about and didn't put in the sequels. Or, which they, yeah. Or he adopted, or he has a goddaughter sort of thing, like a Harrison Ford thing. So like a okay, you're my, you're like my apprentice, but you're like my kid. Okay, so it's like Grogu. What they should have done with the sequels, and didn't think of it at the time, but they should have done that. They should have introduced Rey as Mara Jade. They should have just said she's Mara Jade. And then it would have been like, oh, we know immediately who that is. Yeah, we know immediately who that is. Which means she would have been there when Kylo... There would have been this interesting dynamic. Because Kylo, being slightly older than her, would have been there when the other stuff happened. And that would have been why they have a connection. See, that would have worked so much better. They should have done that. They should have said Rey was Mara Jade. That was her real name. She was a Jedi apprentice. Yeah, they should have done that. They didn't do that, but they should have done that. And then she could have said, I'm a Skywalker. That totally would have worked. I was like, oh, of course she's a Skywalker. There you go. Anyway, I don't know.